What up? What is going on? Happy Monday. Hello, 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 Supreme. Hello, Pantera. Hello, number 7. It's just us today. That's fine. Small little click. What's up? Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. I was supposed to go live yesterday, but I spent the day with my father. Yay, my most favorite person ever. Hello, beautiful Augie. My girl Augie. Thank you for being here. And hello, Abuelita's Journey. Oh, all my favorites are here. Hello. I see Abuelita's Journey. Eternal, thank you for becoming a new member right off the bat. Coming in hot. I like it. It's very much me. Hello, beautiful Witch. And thank you, Supreme. Says I dig your channel. Thank you. And Eternal, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I hope you guys had a good weekend. We are going to get caught up on Diddy. I know, don't come for me. I'm behind on Carrie and Reed, and I'm getting behind on Diddy. So we're going to skip day 21. That was the rest of Jane. And we're going to do a little recap of day 22, and then we're going to go through day 23, day 24, and we're going to watch an AI clip. There's new ones out. So we're going to get caught up on that. Diddy Charles crazy. I know, actually, I'm not caught up. I just know ridiculous Kanye West showed up one day. And then I know Adura has been dismissed. I did kind of look into it, Supreme. I think I kind of want to do a live on that. So tomorrow, I might do another one today after this one. But maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll probably be talking about what you told me about, the YouTuber's case. But tomorrow we will finish the document that I was reading for Luigi Mangione. I was going to go live yesterday, like I said, but it was Father's Day, so I ended up spending the entire day with my dad. I took advantage of that. Let's get started. I'll stop yapping. Day 22. So that was Thursday? Yeah, because today's 24. I believe it was... Wait, no, I'm wrong. What's the date today? I don't know. Maybe that was Thursday. Anyways, day 22. Understandable. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so day 22 says, witness says Diddy participated in hotel nights as late as August 2024. I think this trial is wild. The fourth week of testimony in the trial of Diddy concluded with deeply emotional and disturbing testimony from one of the mogul's ex-girlfriends who told jurors she was forced to participate in days-long sexual encounters with male prostitutes as late as August 2024. Testifying through tears, the woman using the pseudonym Jane told jurors Diddy provided her drugs and forced her to participate in the orgies called freak-offs or hotel nights for 3 years of her relationship. She testified the routine only ended when the federal agents arrested Diddy in September of 2024 for the trafficking charges, racketeering, conspiracy, and the P word. Jane alleged that the hotel nights could last as long as 3 days and would require her during the sessions to have sex with up to 3 men in addition to Diddy, saying she felt pressure to please Combs, who would please himself while watching Jane and alternate with male escorts. Jane said she relied on rugs to make it through the degrading marathons. I just feel like at this point, I have done so many of these. I just know how to tune out and get in a zone, she said, of living through the escapades. I know what my partner likes to see, and I just turn on this person and I just begin. Prosecutors allege that Diddy used his wealth and influence to coerce multiple women into unwanted encounters while using threats and violence to enforce their silence and protect his reputation as a fashion tastemaker. Jane's testimony at times mirrored the allegations made by Diddy's other ex-girlfriend, Kathy, who likewise took the jury through a narrative of male SEX workers, day-long sexual encounters, and the drugs and alcohols that fueled them. Both women testified about relationships with Diddy that became consumed by these sessions, how they took drugs to endure these sessions, and were required to book the male escorts they were forced to then have SEX with. They both said they repeatedly told Combs they did not want to participate in the freak-offs after first agreeing to them to satisfy his appetites. I just didn't feel like I had much of a choice, Ventura testified. I didn't really know who or what no could turn into. Jane told jurors that Diddy threatened to withhold his financial support if she refused to participate in the hotel nights, and that the rap mogul, now incarcerated, is still paying her rent. Jane testified 3 years later she had Diddy with the 3 relationships she had with Diddy was heartbreaking, as she spent the vast majority of her time with the rap mogul at freak-offs. They were taking place so frequently, she testified, that she suffered regular soreness and painful urinary tract infections. She added it would anger Combs if she asked the male escorts to wear protection. Defense lawyers have argued that Jane was an angry lover of Combs who was jealous that her relationship with the rap mogul did not grow into something more. I'm curious if you guys think that she's okay. Is she? I believe Jane. I do. I believe all people that are victims. But do we think she was in it for the money or no? He was paying her rent. He wasn't giving her. He was giving her money, but the most of the money he was giving her was going to rent. So it's not like, I don't know. Hello, Michelle. Good to see you. I know she's getting a lot of shit for it because people think she's, she just wanted the money and she was jealous. I don't really think that's the case. During questioning from prosecutors, Jane acknowledged she was deeply jealous of Diddy's relationship with other women, tired of the hotel nights, and felt manipulated by Combs. Prosecutors showed jurors dozens of text messages and notes reinforcing both Jane's frustration with Diddy and her repeated request to get out of the hotel nights, potentially bolstering their argument that the encounters were not fully consensual. I realized that since 2021, I had been saying the same thing over and over, Jane told jurors about her frequent pleas to stop participating in the hotel nights. Jurors began the emotional testimony with prosecutors playing a part of a recording of one of the hotel nights, during which Diddy can be heard giving direction. On the tape, Jane and a male SEX worker are heard looking for a condom when Diddy says, "You're taking that D." So this is the first week I think they've seen videos of the. Of course, it's all money related. Unpopular opinion, I don't think she was 100% victim. Okay. Interesting. Doesn't make it right for the price she paid. Okay. Abuelita says she wanted a relationship and she treated her like a pea stew. Right. This is disgusting. Like, they're watching jury's watching a video of them and Diddy's saying this. I don't know. Jane testified that Combs generally insisted that the male pea students not wear condoms when they had sex with Jane. Requesting a condom would make Diddy unhappy or not satisfied with me, she said. I just didn't want to disappoint my lover. Recounting what she said was a typical hotel night, Jane testified that Diddy would encourage the male escort to ejaculate on her, but not let her clean it before Jane and Diddy had sex. Whoa. Trigger warning. I'm sorry, that came in real quick. Pause. What? I'm laughing because it's like uncomfortable. She said a normal hotel night would include 3 rounds of sex. Who decided if you can stop when you were tired? Prosecutor Maureen Comey asked. Jane began to sob as she said Diddy. Her testimony paused while she dabbed her eyes. I would give subtle cues that I was tired, and I would say I was hungry, or I would lay down and I would just come in and give him little faces. Jane said he would say, "You're not getting tired on me. Let's finish strong." When Comey asked why not just say you wanted to stop, Jane wailed loudly in the microphone. "I don't know," she said through tears. The jury also saw a text message from later in the relationship in which Jane tried to communicate with her true feelings about the hotel nights. She said she sent it because I don't like them, and I was realizing this was becoming the dynamic of what we were, and she was getting scared of how often it was starting to become. I wish we could jump this back to when we first started dating. Ever since I opened Pandora's box, I've never been able to close it. It's hurting me because I'm much more than being left in the dark hotel rooms. I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and it makes me feel disgusted. I don't want to play this role out of fear of losing the roof over my head. Comey asked her to read Diddy's response. She testified Diddy's words were, "Girl, stop." I'm saying I could do whatever the F I want to, Diddy said in the recording. You're effing nuts. So be sad, do crazy, do whatever the F you want. We heard that, I think, already, right? Jane testified she relied on the rugs to participate in the hotel nights. Jane told jurors she relied on the rugs like provided by Diddy to stay awake for hotel nights, taking multiple doses to make it through these sessions. They could run for as long as 3 days. She added that she needed to take sleeping pills to finally go to bed after the freak-ups finally concluded. I was just tired of doing that to my body, Jane said. I didn't like it. The fantasy of it wasn't there. It wasn't easy. It was just too real that it was happening. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie, who testified early in the trial, said she similarly relied on rugs during the days-long sex sessions. The rug use, Ventura said, contributed to her opioid addiction. I couldn't imagine myself doing any of that without having some sort of buffer, said Cassie. Jane testifies about transporting rugs and escorts. I'm writing what you're saying. Hey, Dinky. Hey, Keith. I was just sorry. As Jane testified softly about the pain and emotional suffering she endured during her relationship with Diddy, she also testified about details about the underlying infrastructure Diddy relied on to pull off the marathon sex sessions. She told jurors about Diddy's assistant who set up the hotel rooms, supplied the mogul with stacks of cash for the SCX workers, and delivered the rugs he wanted when he wanted them. Twice, Jane said she carried these substances for Diddy from LA to Miami. Okay, that was day 22. And then let's move on to day 23, and then we'll get caught up on today's date. I think this is the day that Ridiculous Kanye West shows up. What Jane said on her final day of testimony, which we just kind of read through. Jane, that's one of, we know. Here's a look at what she said. Breaking point. Jane testified about the physical altercation she and Diddy had in 2024 over a woman she believed Diddy was spending time on a trip with. At this point, I had just reached my breaking point. I think we played that in the last clip too. Jane testified that after things escalated, she called the woman from Diddy's phone and the two traded insults. Jane testified that the reason she sent Diddy affectionate text messages after the Turks and Caicos trip, what she had previously described as disappointing, was because of a confusing cycle in which Diddy would shower her with love and affection, with sexual exploitation in between. She said she was able to compartmentalize all the bad stuff and focus on the good stuff. When asked why she brought up hotel nights to Diddy during discussions about other women in his life, Jane testified that she was trying to express, why do I have to be degraded in order to be with you? Becoming emotional, she added that she was trying to say, why do I have to break all my boundaries and compromise on myself, but they can still experience you in the way I want to? And that's what Diddy would threaten her with the rent thing. Special agent expected to take the stand next. Lawyers argue about testimony of the next witness. Defense attorneys and prosecutors are arguing about the testimony of the next expected witness, a special agent involved in the search of Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home in March 2024. The agent is expected to testify about the firearms recovered from the home's security room. Judges considering whether to question juror further following the prosecutor's request to dismiss. We do know that I think he got dismissed, the juror. The judge has turned to prosecutors' previous request to dismiss one of the jurors, number 6, a request made after they found there appeared to be a lack of candor with the court from the juror. Submarine said there was a question of the juror's residence and confirmed they've established that he met the qualifications to be in the jury pool and lived in the jurisdiction, at least at the time of jury selection. The juror moved out of the Bronx in the last 2 weeks, Submarine said. The judge said this came up only because of a friendly banter the juror had with jury staff members who informed the court of the caution. Defense Mark Agnifilio said it no longer seems to be an issue. The juror has been part of a diligent panel that's been engaged and cooperative throughout the trial. The judge also pushed back on previous accusation from one of the defense attorneys this week that this was a thinly veiled effort to dismiss a Black juror. The judge said there's been no evidence and no showing of any kind of biased conduct from the prosecution. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner said the juror has said multiple things that cannot all be true, and the most prudent thing to do was to get to the bottom of this issue through additional inquiry. Defense attorney Alexander Shapiro said further inquiry would be harassing the juror, who said she would feel singled out and picked on if he's subjected to individual questioning again. Shapiro said the defense waives the issue on appeal. When Shapiro suggested the judge asked Diddy if he wanted to waive, Diddy waved his arm and says, "Waiving, Your Honor." The judge at first said he'd like to hear more from the juror because he thinks there would be perfectly innocent explanation, but said he'd think about it further. The judge said if he opts to question the juror further, he'll do it at the end of the day after the panel has been dismissed. Diddy's mother is so far the only one of his relatives in the court today. He said hello to her and blew her a kiss. So the special agent who searched Diddy's house is called to the stand. His name is Andre Lamont. Prosecutor Meredith Foster is questioning the agent. In front of the jury, but before Homeland Security investigations, Special Agent Andre Lamont took the stand. Prosecutors read aloud some text messages. According to this reading, Diddy texted his then chief, KK, Christina Coram, chief of staff, on November 21st, 2023, saying in part, "Make sure Robin is not doing anything dumb like not having the rent paid on time. Can you make sure she paid for this month, please?" Wow. According to previous testimony, Robin was Diddy's accountant, and Jane, who dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, testified in this case under a pseudonym and is identified as the victim in Diddy's indictment, said Robin handled the rent for her home. Diddy pays for Jane's rent in an LA home from 2023 to present day. Coram responded according to the text message. Robin said her rent was paid. Substances positive for Special K and MDMA were taken from Diddy's home. Special Agent Andre Lamont on the stand. The jury saw photos of items that the authorities say were found in nightstands in the master bedroom of his home during the March 2024 search. One of the nightstands contained 6 manila envelopes marked with a K, Lamont said. A white powder in the bags tested positive for Special K, and according to a stipulation read in court. Jeez, he's Special K a lot. Several cell phones were found in the house, Lamont testified. The jury saw photos of items that were inside a safe in one of the master closets. Diddy's passport and a plastic bag with a brown substance in it were found inside the safe. Lamont said the brown substance tested positive for MDMA. Jury sees photos of items recovered from Diddy's home. The jury saw at least 16 boxes full of lubricant bottles. The jury saw a photo of a bag of baby oil and lubricant next to a pack of laundry recovered from a closet near the master bedroom. Let me do something real quick. Let's see. Agents found multiple weapons and ammo designed to penetrate body armor at Diddy's home. This is a sketch of the agent and Diddy. Diddy's in the sketch. The jury saw photos of 6 firearms, magazines, and ammunition found in the security room in the home. Special Agent Lamont testified that when he arrived, agents responsible for securing the home had already laid out the firearms and removed their magazines in accordance with standard procedures. Lamont said the security room had a firearm safe, and agents also found 2 locks and a bag. 4 of the guns were rifles on one pistol. One was a pistol, one was a shotgun. Lamont testified that the serial number on one of the rifle numbers appeared to have been scratched off or sanded off. Agents also seized a drum magazine compatible with rifles. Lamont testified that the drum magazines typically hold larger amounts of ammunition. This drum magazine could hold 60 rounds, and 59 rounds of green tip ammunition were found in the magazine. He said the green tip ammunition is designed to penetrate body armor. That's wild. Firearm and ammunition were found only in the home's security room. Mark Agnifilio is now cross-examining Special Agent Andre Lamont, who has been testifying about his involvement in Homeland Security investigations. When asked, Lamont confirmed he's aware that a security team protects Diddy's residence, and there's a designated security room where all the firearms were recovered. No guns or ammunition were found anywhere in the home other than the security office. Special response team cleared Diddy's home before the agents entered. Lamont testifies that a special response team cleared Diddy's home first to make sure it was safe for other agents to enter. He said the team's sole purpose upon entering the location is to look for people or if they encounter weapons to make weapons safe. He said the team does not typically take photos of items on the property. Because of that, Lamont said he didn't know if the firearms were found inside the firearms were found inside the firearm safe, if the safe was locked, or if the door to the security room was locked when the agents arrived first at the home. I think Diddy has enough money not to buy another felony with serial numbers. Yeah. Baby oil or mineral oils. Please. Yes, please hit that like button. Thank you, Augie. Yeah. Kanye West arrives at the courthouse. Oh, here we go. He arrives at the courthouse. Okay, what was Kanye West doing there? Can we talk? Like, what was the point of that? Did he arrive because he had something to do with it, or did he arrive to defend his friend really? And like, why are you still defending him, you weirdo? I actually like Kanye West music, but I don't like him very much often. Yeah, why was he there? Kanye West just arrived at the courthouse. He's dressed in all white wearing sunglasses. West has been in touch with Diddy's family about possibly attending the ongoing criminal trial to show his support. West nodded and said yes when a reporter asked if he's here to support Diddy, but he didn't answer other questions. West was directed to the overflow room. He's there supporting his friend because he participated or because they're actually truly like besties. Prosecution points to Diddy nodding during testimony. While the jury was on a break, prosecutor Maureen Comey brought up an issue with the judge during the defense's cross-examination of Special Agent Andre Lamont. Combs was nodding emphatically, and he was also nodding during some of Jane's cross-examination earlier this week, Comey said. Even if Diddy's not looking directly at the jury, he should still not be nodding like that, Comey said. Defense attorney Brian Steele said Diddy hasn't been looking at the jury and has been acting professionally. Mr. Combs did nothing inappropriate at all today or any day, actually, Steele said. The judge referenced a discussion the lawyers had last week after the judge said he saw Diddy looking at the jury and nodding. The judge said he believed both sides have since then made the boundaries clear to the respective teams. There's going to be some amount of reaction to testimony that is given, and it is impossible to police every reaction from every person in the courtroom, said the judge. The judge reiterated the efforts to communicate with or influence the jury will not be allowed. Diddy nodded when the judge said he advised no one should be attempting to influence the jury. Comey clarified she was not seeking a curative instruction or suggesting Diddy be removed from the courtroom, but thought it was inappropriate for Diddy to be nodding, while his attorney is asking the witness a yes or no question. Another one of the Diddy's assistants takes the stand. Jonathan Perez, a former assistant to Diddy, is now on the stand. Perez said he works for Diddy from December 2021 and September 2024. December 2021 and September 2024. Perez is going to testify under an immunity order outside the presence of the jury. He invoked the Fifth Amendment, triggering an immunity order signed by the judge. This is the fourth witness to testify under immunity at the trial. Another of Diddy's assistant, George Kaplan, also testified under an immunity agreement, as well as Brianna Bungolan and the Intercontinental Hotel security Eddie Garcia. Kanye West leaves the courthouse. Kanye West just left the courthouse via the front entrance. He was seen getting into a car. He arrived at the courthouse about 40 minutes ago, asked if he was there to support Diddy, and he nodded yes. He said, Mr. Combs is guilty of being a dirty pig. I agree. Yeah, W. I think Kanye is mentally insane. Is that what we think? Making a spectacle. I hate Kanye. I believe Diddy, for the most part, had dirt on someone. I think Kanye is supporting him because Diddy has stuff on him. Because remember all those lawsuits? I read the lawsuit. I don't have a Kanye West playlist, but I know that I did read the lawsuit. The Kanye West lawsuit from his former assistant and stuff. Predatory. Insane. I know. You guys should watch that. That's a crazy document too. Because she's like an influencer. Well, she always was, but it's an interesting document with Kanye West. Ex-assistant Diddy staff would get hours of notice to set up king nights. Back in the courtroom, Jonathan Perez, a personal assistant to Diddy from 2021 to September 2024, testified that his starting annual salary was $85,000 and that he later made $100,000. Christina Coram, then Combs' chief of staff, was Perez's direct supervisor, he said. Coram and Combs seemed to have a good working relationships, and some days it seemed they had a good personal relationship too, Perez testified. Perez's typical hours were 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and another assistant would work the night shift once he was finished. Diddy typically had 3 or 4 personal assistants. Coram made him aware of quote-unquote king nights, which Perez described as Combs, quote-unquote, going to a hotel to have private time with a female. Oh, Jane, who testified in this trial under a pseudonym, dated Combs, we know, would accompany Diddy to king nights while Perez worked for Diddy. When asked, Perez described Jane as Combs' female friend companion. I'm not sure exactly. Diddy staff would get anywhere from 2 hours to a full day's notice to set up a king night. A king night, please. You're far from a king. And why is his name Love? Like, you know how he changed his name Love? Like, no, Diddy. Anyways, I really want to hear from Christina Coram. So I hope she gets on the stand soon. She should be her ass on the stand. I'm sure Kanye did bad things as well. Yeah. Diddy's King night. Prep involved enough supplies for a days without interruption, ex-assistant says. Jonathan Perez testifies about staff members setting up king nights, which, I'm sorry, did I just read that? Oh, no, I didn't. Going to a hotel room to have private time with a female. Whichever assistant was working in the evening would typically set up the king night, Perez said. Perez typically worked the day, so he estimates he set up about 5 king nights for Diddy. He says it was a lot of packing materials, making sure that he was going to have everything he would need for 12 to 24 hours without having to bother anybody. Perez brought food, liquor, music, red lights, condoms, lubricant, and sometimes honey. He said honey enhances the man's libido. Men, is this true? Just kidding. Perez said he sometimes also went to sex stores to purchase adult outfits and high heels. He would pay for the items on his company card or with cash he got from the security. Those honey packets, they're all effed up. Yes, Augie, say that again. Honey? Gross. I use honey for my tea. Okay, anyways. Combs' former assistant describes what happened after a king night. Jonathan Perez says he cleaned up after the king night. The room would be just a bit messy and in disarray, Perez testified. Just like lots of sheets, towels, and oils, he added. Perez said his main purpose of cleaning up was to make sure no items were left behind. The former assistant testified that Diddy and his guests would be tired when he saw them after a king night. Diddy staff would typically arrange a meal, a massage, or an IV drip for him after a king night. Oh my God, I'm dying to show you guys this video now that I'm thinking about this. The king night thing. Okay, I'll have to remember that after I'm done reading this. Nasty. Assistant texted about getting outfits for the king night. King night? Why does he think he's a king? I'm so disgusted. Damn, no baby wipes? No baby wipes. How about get your ass in the shower? Honey's what you don't want unless you're rolling the blunt. Oh, okay. Let's see. Assistant texted about getting, outfits. Jonathan Perez has been testifying about the king night. So jury now saw messages that Perez sent to Diddy and Jane on August 12, 2023, involving information about a hotel room. Quote unquote, just left 2 candles and room phone in front of room door. I'm only 9 minutes away if y'all need anything, Perez wrote. The jury also saw messages between Diddy and Christina Coram. Perez said another assistant about setting up the hotel room. In the messages, Coram asked if the room was done, and Perez said he was going to run to the store to get outfits for Jane. In another conversation seen in court from May 2023, Coram asked another assistant how the cleanup was going. Slipped and fell twice, the assistant responded. Slipped and fell, that's how much the oil was everywhere. just everywhere. Dripping from the walls, baby. Dripping, dripping. Combs Essex and said staffers saw a sexually explicit video of Jane on the iPad. One thing is like going through this, and then another thing, I think they're both just as bad. And then another one is like everybody watching this. It's like straight up porn, you know? And then it's probably on the dark web or some shit. Are we allowed to say that? I'm not sure. I don't think on YouTube. YouTube's so strict. Anyways, Jonathan Perez testifies that he found a video, recounted a time at Diddy's LA home when a videographer found a video of Jane and another man engaging in sexual activity. Jane, one of Combs, how degrading. Jane, one of Combs' accusers, unless you're into that kind of thing, but no disrespect. Jane, one of the Combs' accusers, testified for several days during his trial and described the drug-fueled performances. Press said the video was on the iPad usually used by Diddy. Combs could be seen in the background. Press said he took the iPad and told Combs and Christina, the chief of staff, separately about the video. He testified that Diddy seemed surprised when he told him about the video. Quorum told Perez the next day he should give footage directly to her and she would deal with Diddy. About 6 months later, Quorum questioned Perez about the video and how it was found. She told Perez she had got a call from someone outside the company about talking about the video in some capacity. A recording of that conversation was recovered from Quorum's phone, which was seized in 2024. Perez testified he didn't know he was being recorded at the time. Ooh. I bet we're going to hear that recording when Christina Quorum goes up. Nasty little nasty. Professional crime scene cleaners, right, Dodge? Hello. King Knight? Yeah. I'm gonna have nightmares about King Knights. Jury hears recording, about the assistant and discussing discovery of sexually explicit video. The jury heard the recording in which Christina Quorum questions then assistant Jonathan Perez about the discovery of Diddy's LA home and the video found of Jane and another man. The discussion involved how the video was found. Quorum told Perez she had got a call from someone outside the company talking about the video in some capacity, probably like TMZ. And just kidding. In the recording, Quorum asked Perez to tell her step by step what happened when the video was found on the iPad because an outside person brought up something about it. In the recording, Perez said a videographer found the video first, then he saw it. Perez told her that once he saw the video, he told Diddy, "Hey, I found something on the iPad that the staff uses. I can lock it up for you. I can, or you can delete it. I just wanted you to make the decision." He told Quorum that Diddy then deleted the video. In the recording, Perez told Quorum he didn't have any other conversations about the video. He also referenced an investigation. Perez testified that Diddy thought his phone or data may have been compromised and that KK mentioned that Diddy wanted an investigation to happen regarding the video and how it got on that device. Perez said he didn't know if an investigation actually happened. In the recording, Perez told Quorum that he thought the video looked like it was set up and filmed on that iPad. Perez said he never spoke to Quorum about it again, but at that same point after that, Diddy's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, asked him about the day the video was found. Perez testified he relayed the same story he told Quorum and it never came up again. Perez testified that Diddy's Chef K, was also in the room when the video was found, but he didn't mention that to anyone because he hadn't named her in the first account and he was hoping the incident wouldn't become a big thing. Chef K, I wonder who that is. What happened inside during the courthouse during Kanye West's brief visit? West was stoic as he went through the security. He kept his sunglasses on as he passed. Court staff cleared the hallway around one of the courthouse's overflow rooms. A security guard inside the overflow room told CNN he was instructed to clear a bench in the back for West and whoever was with him. Oh, he did go into a different floor. He sat next to Christian Combs briefly and then left. Yeah. Thank you, Abuelita's Journey. I'm gonna get back to you tonight too. I love and appreciate you. Thank you. Abuelita's Journey keeping me awake. She be knowing I working hard. Thank you, Abuelita's Journey. I appreciate you. I think one of the contestants on Hell's Kitchen was the personal chef. Yo, I hope it's not that chef that cooks for the Kardashians. It probably is. I'm forgetting her name. Maybe we can talk about that on an after dark. But Yeah, I'm forgetting her name. Combs keeps a Gucci pouch filled with rugs and money, former assistant testifies. Prosecutor Madison Smizer showed the jury a photo of the Gucci pouch. Jonathan Perez said the pouch belonged to Diddy and it was typically filled with rugs and money. Combs always had it with him during King nights. The jury saw messages between Perez and another assistant from July 2022. And the messages, the other assistant told Perez to go look for the Gucci pouch in the bathroom and if anything was inside it, to put it back in. I zipped it up, no residue, and I didn't steal one Addy, Perez texted back. Oh, I didn't steal one Adderall pill. He testified that he meant there was no rug residue in the pouch and he didn't steal any Adderall from it. Oh, I should have finished that sentence. Another messages between Perez and other assistants, Perez said the cocaine was found in a different bag and that it would never leave the Gucci bag. Exorcism, they were all just kidding. Exorcism talks of getting rugs for Combs and payment. He testifies he obtained the rugs a handful of times. He got rugs including Xanny bars, Coca-Cola, and the girl Molly was showing up. From someone named Guido and Baby Girl. He would pay for the rugs with cash that he either got from Diddy's security personnel, the Gucci pouch, or a top drawer. The jury saw a message that, according to prosecutors, Perez sent to one of Combs' security guards, Fahim, in February 2024. Perez testified that Fahim usually handled cash for Diddy. In the message, Perez said in part, $700 went to Guido. Perez says he got a call from Combs on a night of a 2024 altercation. We getting the tea. Chef K, yo. Baby oil running down the walls. Perez says he got a call. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Testified that he dropped off items at Jane's house to set up for a hotel night with Combs on June 18th, 2024. Holy shite. That was like almost a year ago. Man, they were doing these freak offs less than a year ago. Oh my God. A few hours later, Combs called him on a FaceTime and seemed angry and annoyed, and his voice was raised, Perez said. He was asking me to confirm whether or not another female had been on a trip we went on the week prior, Perez said. Perez told Diddy no, and Diddy thanked him before hanging up. Perez testified he saw Jane on the call, but her back was to the camera, so he never saw her face and she didn't speak. The call lasted about 20 seconds, he said. The jury saw messages between Perez and Diddy's then chief staff, Christina Coram. Heads up, him and Guest are fighting. I'm about to head back and pick him up, Perez texted them. Perez also told Fahim that Diddy wanted him to bring cash. In a separate group message with Diddy, Fahim and Perez said, need $3,500 ASAP for his guest. I'm going to take it to her. Perez testified he was referring to Jane in the message. You know, I was thinking like the RICO charges might be hard to pin, but yo, the key studing and the sex work stuff, I think, yeah. I think they got him on it. I think Diddy's kind of screwed. Former assistant says, like, people do 10 years for like white collar crimes that are not even nonviolent with the feds. So imagine, you know what I mean? Former assistant says the last time he talked to Diddy was the day the rapper was arrested. Prosecutor Madison Smizer asked Perez why he stopped working for Diddy in September of 2024. Maybe because he didn't want to be involved with the freak-offs. There's a lot going on personally for Mr. Combs, and there wasn't a lot of communication about what was happening. So I thought it was a good time to leave to hopefully avoid a situation like this, Perez said. He testified that the last time he talked to Diddy was the day the music mogul was arrested. That was the last time Jane talked to him too. Smizer asked Perez how he feels about Diddy now. I feel great about him. The same way I felt when I was leaving my employment, Perez responded. Wait. You feel great about him? He might have been nice to you, Perez, but he was still doing illegal shit. Ex-assistant says he respects Diddy. Say what? Prosecutors have finished the direct examination. I don't have any respect for Diddy. Defense attorney Brian Steele started his cross-examination by confirming with Perez that he still respects Combs. Brian Steele's an animal. Perez also confirmed that he's seen Combs sad and cry at times while working for him. Steele asked Perez if he recalls seeing Diddy cry on October 26, 2023. Steele showed him an exhibit that helped Perez recall that Diddy was upset that day, but said he didn't remember Diddy crying. Jane, one of Diddy's accusers, testified previously that she went to Diddy's home that day after she told him about her feelings about the hotel nights. They broke up around this time, and Diddy told her to come over so they could be depressed together, quote unquote. Diddy crying? Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. You would have to pay me to believe that. Diddy got picked up, and I don't put anything past. You already know we've seen it with Jeffrey Epstein. What's the other guy name? Harvey Weinstein. Danny Masterson. Where the hell is Ashton Kutcher? I'm not gonna let that go. Diddy, Kanye. I mean, he hasn't been charged for anything, but anyways, you know, I still think it's gonna end in a mistrial or deal with the feds, or a deal with the feds, right, Jeff? It's hard to find joy when you have so much money for such a long time. Yeah, it makes you like sick in the head, you know? Depressed together. I know, Augie. I know. Shoot me. Like, what? Setting up King's Nights were not personal tasks for Diddy. Not part of employment, ex-assistant says. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Jonathan Perez whether he would sometimes do things of a personal nature for Diddy, even if it wasn't part of his employee. He agreed. Perez agreed that setting up King Nights and purchasing rugs would be classified as personal instead of work-related. He confirmed that it had nothing to do with his work, and he didn't believe he was getting paid to do those things. No, sir. It's not part of being an assistant unless you're with a celebrity. Diddy's former assistant says Jane seemed like a willing participant. Ooh. Is that gonna help Diddy or no? Ouch. No kings. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Jonathan Perez about his interactions with Jane. He says he confirmed he would help Jane pick out lingerie, heels, and dresses for her. Jane trusted Perez with his opinion of what to buy, Perez confirmed. Steele asked Perez if Jane ever appeared hesitant to go to a king night, and he said no. Steele also asked Perez to confirm that Jane seemed like a willing participant in king nights. Perez said yes. Perez also confirmed when asked that Jane never seemed upset or unhappy after king night. I'm questioning Perez. This is just Melly's opinion. I'm not a professional. So he's up here being like, oh no, I still feel great about him. Oh no, Jane wasn't, Jane was participating. What's going on there? Perez, are you getting a fat check on the back end? Doesn't help Jane's civil case, right? I'm just, making things up, but those are my opinions. People will do anything for money, we know. Money, greed, evil, lust, and 7 sins. Well, money isn't one of them, but greed, yeah. Ex-assistant spent 1% of his employee on Combs' personal matters. 1% of his employment? How does he know it was 1%? Defense attorney Brian Steele turned to Perez's previous testimony about a staffer finding on an iPad the video of Jane and another man engaging in sexual activity. Steele asked Perez if the concern about the video centered on the fact that a personal, private sex tape was on a business iPad. Perez agreed. Perez estimated that he spent about 1% of his time working for Combs dealing with personal matters like setting up for king nights and obtaining substances. When asked about Diddy's understanding of technology, Perez said he was not the most proficient when it came to technology, so we set up all the technology stuff for him. Wait. Not you being one of the biggest gangsta rappers out here taking out good rappers, and then you don't even know how to work it. You don't even know how to work your phone that you're doing all these crimes on. Oh my God. If he was a master manipulator, she could have seemed willing to please him. Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome, I know. Jane's civil case dies when he's acquitted. If this man walks or mistrial or something, all the people that testified better go look for Ashton and move out there too. Narcissists don't usually make deals like that because they cannot admit fault. They find it incredibly hard to take accountability. Combs never told me not to talk about king nights, says the former assistant. Here he is, sketched. Perez confirms that Diddy and the people close to the rapper never told him to keep quiet about the king nights or the rugs. The former assistant confirmed they only did tell him the truth. They only told him to tell the truth. Perez also confirmed that he never saw Diddy strike a woman or anyone else. Ex-assistant doesn't know whether charges for Diddy's personal items were paid off with company funds. Testimony has come back to Perez's previous disclosure in court that he sometimes used his card to buy personal items for Diddy, like outfit at sex stores for Jane. Perez, an assistant, has now testified that he doesn't know whether these charges on the card were paid off with company funds or Combs' personal money. Jury sees text messages between Jane and Combs' former assistant discussing king nights. Defense attorney Brian Steele showed the jury a series of texts from different times throughout John Perez's employment in which Jane talked to Perez before and after king nights. In some texts, they planned for king nights, including packing items like underwear, and in other messages, they discussed tasks for Perez to do for her or Sean. Steele asked Perez to confirm that on all those occasions, she doesn't seem upset in the text messages. He says his job included doing personal things. Prosecutor Madison Smizer is not questioning Jonathan. Smizer asked Perez, a former assistant, whether getting items for Jane was part of his job. Perez testified that it was. Was your title personal assistant or business assistant? Smizer asked. Personal assistant, Perez said. He confirmed that his job included doing any personal things for Diddy, such as writing cards and buying gifts and flowers for his girlfriends. He previously spent about 1% of his time working for Diddy doing personal matters. Perez testified that Christina Coram told him to set up for the king nights. He confirmed that he did not set them up for free, that it was part of his job, and that he never set them up when he was on vacation. Jury is dismissed. Okay. Judge says he intends to dismiss juror number 6, but will think about it over the weekend, and we find out he did. Doesn't Rico just need co-conspirators? I thought Rico had to be like a whole bunch of people, but after learning about the Luigi Mangione, that's, I guess, a little bit different, but his silence must have a vested. Yeah, I feel like I thought there needed to be more people. No? Kutcher's probably posted in an extradition country right about it. I think so too. I really do. The judge says he intends to dismiss juror number 6, but he will review the situation again over the weekend. Submarinian said he found that the juror has been inconsistent in answering questions about where he lives. But after extensive argument from the defense this afternoon, the judge said he'd think about it. Submarinian said that in reviewing transcripts, he's identified inconsistencies in the juror's disclosure about where he lives and with whom when asked at different times. During jury selection, the juror said he lives with his fiancée and a baby daughter in the Bronx. But in an inquiry earlier this week, he told the court he had recently moved in with a woman and his child who had been living in New Jersey, but also stays with his aunt in the Bronx 4 or 5 nights a week while he's working. The changing answers and inconsistency gives the court a worry about deception and lying, the judge said. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson said the least can do is bring the juror in to question him about the situation to ensure they have the record straight, even though the defense said earlier in the day they thought questioning the juror again would be harassment. Donaldson said dismissing the juror, who is a person of color, will result in the diversity of the jury being shortened. Oh, here we go. Making it about race. Here we go. I will say, though, Kid Cudi drama comes off as very good. Yeah, it does. Not doing it for financial gain is the biggest problem I see. I just think he's screwed regardless. He's going to have to do some time unless they really do find him innocent, and if it's a mistrial and they get him ready for another trial, he's going to have to be in trial for that amount of time, right? Well, the new trial. So like either way, he's going to have to be doing time. Hello, Jules. Hello, my love. Donaldson said, I'm glad you're here. Donaldson said dismissing the juror, who is a person of color. Submarinian said there's some evidence of the juror acting with a personal agenda. The juror appeared to make an effort to stay on the jury when he told the court during the inquiry that he still has a New York license and that his bills go to a New York address and that he maintains so nothing has changed regarding his eligibility. The judge said he wants to avoid the juror attempting to shade his answers to further questions in an attempt to stay on the jury. Donaldson reiterated that the jury will be less diverse if the juror is dismissed. I don't play the race card unless I have it in my hand, and I'm not saying I'm playing it now, but the facts are what the facts are, he said. You guys agree with that? Please let me know. Do you agree with that? That it's just because the juror that's being removed is black, it's gonna change like everything and not be fair. Dude, no. I don't think so. Combs is slumped in his chair as lawyers debate. Can't you sit straight? They're discussing exhibits that the defense objects to being included in the government's summary chart that the jury is expected to see next week. Diddy slumped over his chair during his debate about admissibility of exhibits. At one point, Diddy laid his head on his forearms on the defense table. Prosecutor says they have 5 witnesses left to call. They should be done by the end of this week, too. Prosecutor Maureen Comey said the government has 5 witnesses left. Those include 3 summary witnesses, a law enforcement agent, and another former assistant to Diddy Combs. Is the another former assistant? Is that Christina Quorum? Okay, so that was the 13th, which was Friday. So now we're gonna get caught up on today, and then we're gonna watch the AI. You know I'm into the AI stuff. Okay, here we go. That is their wild card ejected, number 6. Do we think the jury was getting paid by Diddy's team? The juror that got ejected? I don't know. Still looking forward to the defense witnesses. I can't wait. That's going to be crazy. Yeah, you guys taking notes? Yeah. I was expecting, judge dismisses juror number 6. So this is from today. The judge in the trial has dismissed juror number 6 over the inconsistent disclosures. So he did end up doing it today. Juror number 6 will be replaced by the first alternate juror. During the jury selection, the juror said he lives with his fiance and baby daughter in the Bronx, and then he said that he lives in New Jersey. Judge said that moving questioning further would be inappropriate and offer the juror another chance to shade his answers to stay on the jury. Summarin said last week he believed the juror appeared while answering questions to make an effort to stay on the jury. Juror 6 is a 41-year-old black man, according to the defense, which had argued at length to keep the jury at the very least question him further. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson said dismissing the jury would result in the diversity of the jury being shortened. Summarin said Monday it would be improper to let the race of the juror and the alternate juror factor into the proper course here at all. The judge said Monday he took the weekend to consider the issue, acknowledging its importance, but said such scrutiny is not required. The judge was like, let me think about it. And then the judge was like, actually, I thought about it, and you guys are going to tell me how to do my job. He liked hip hop and R&B and the best juror for Diddy team. It's a real battle of good versus evil. A lot of them sold their morality, their whole souls. It's sad knowing that's just a matter. Yeah, I know, Augie. Money got to them. The want of fame and social media attention and etc. What we know about the dismissed juror and the alternate who will replace him. Juror number 6, who the judge dismissed, is a 41-year-old black man who lives with his fiance and a child, according to the defense team. He previously told the court he works as a clerk at a correctional facility and said he's a fan of the 90s hip hop. Wait, he works at a correctional facility. The juror said he pled guilty to misdemeanor fraud related to insurance and received a 1-year conditional discharge. He told the court he had heard about the Diddy trial, but said he didn't know much about it. The alternate juror who will replace him is a 57-year-old white man who lives with his wife and 2 kids in Westchester County. He's a manufacturing architect with a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He said he has some media coverage of the allegations against Diddy on the radio. Dang, an architect? Judge indicates there's an issue with another juror, but it's unrelated to the dismissed juror. Oh my gosh. all these issues with the jury is going to get him to freaking, this better not benefit the defense. This is wild. The judge indicated there was an issue with another juror, although he said it was in no way linked to the issues with juror number 6. The judge said they would further question that juror after the jury is dismissed. Paralegal specialist is called to the stand. Anaya Sankar is now on the stand. She's a paralegal specialist of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Sankar testified that she reviewed the accuracy of the government's charge that summarized exhibits. She said she reviewed hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents that included text messages, call logs, audio files, videos, and images. Sankar's a summary witness, a government employee used by the prosecution to submit the summary charts into evidence in an attempt to make things more clear. These charts are meant to show the jury text messages and other information that haven't been discussed in testimony but were submitted into evidence. Paralegal specialist reads text between Diddy and staff members. Anaya read out loud messages between KK and one of Combs' assistants, Ryan Lopez, that were included in a chart. Oh, I wonder if Ryan Lopez will be the next assistant. I want Christina Quorum to testify. A fan of 90s hip hop versus an engineer living in Westchester. I complain about that, right? Right. Yeah. I'm saying you're late to class. Yeah, if you're late to class, you're going to get detention and a spanking. So don't be late. Okay, so Sankar is a summary witness, which is a summary witness which are used to submit summary charts into evidence. The message that Sankar read from the chart were from December 29th, 2019. LOL. Think I saw one of the cowboys today. You can spot them in a lobby like an escort. Forgot to tell you about it, Lopez texted Quorum. Quorum texted back 4 laughing face emojis. By the way, how long is he going to stay awake? She said in the messages. LOL, I'm guessing until tomorrow night, Lopez responded. 2 females who had dated Diddy and testified against him in this trial, Cassie Ventura and Jane, had testified that she and Combs used a service called Cowboys and Angels to find escorts for freak-offs. Oh, okay. Jury sees text showing Diddy's staff planned hotel nights with Cassie. I'm really mad. The jury was shown text messages between Diddy's assistant. Okay, yeah. See all these text messages with Christina Quorum. Where the hell is she at? And one message to discuss adding the name of an escort to the hotel room file. Quorum and other assistants to Diddy then discussed getting $4,000 to the hotel cash. In another exchange, Quorum tells an assistant, quote unquote, heads up, he's probably about to do a wild king night. The assistant, Dave Shirley, who did not testify at this trial, wrote in response, shit, need to re-up on baby oil and shit. Another message, Quorum texted Ventura directly. Hi, Dave is at your door with the green. I need Johnson & Johnson marketing rep, or whoever the hell, to get up on that stand and tell everybody that they're going out of business because Diddy's locked up. Like, he bought all the baby oil. Jury is shown text of Diddy coordinating the hotel night in 2021. The jury was shown text messages between Diddy and Christina Quorum. Combs asked Quorum if the room was ready and said he didn't want the hotel to know it was him to avoid any unneeded charges. Quorum responded that Diddy should wait to go to the room until after Jane, who dated Diddy from 2021 to 2024, and Joey got there. The former assistant, Jonathan Perez, previously testified that another one of Diddy's assistants was named Joey. After Diddy was in the room, Quorum texted him, hotel called, Paul coming up. Jane previously testified that she and Diddy would often have hotel nights with a man named Paul. Jury sees texts showing Diddy's staff discussed high hotel damages. Oh yeah, we heard about that. The jury was shown messages that Christina Quorum said to Jane and Diddy on February 12th and February 14th discussing a hotel room. One of Quorum's messages said in part, quote unquote, your damage charges on one of the hotels are always high. Quorum later sent a message to Jane telling her to ask them if they can bring up like 15 bath towels. Jane texted Coram saying that Combs always brought cash, asking if his security could bring around 5,000 to 10,000. Coram later texted Diddy saying, quote unquote, Jane asked if you could bring 5 to 10 cash. It's all in your safe. Christina Coram better testify and get immunity because, girl, you were up there texting about 15 bath towels. Jurors see texts about buying drugs from the dealer. The jury continues to review text messages. The jury has reviewed a series of text messages between Diddy and a dealer called Guido. And one message thread from December 2021 between Diddy and Christina Coram. They discuss a package that Guido eventually drops off and Coram deals with. Coram also confirms in the thread that she's working on setting up a hotel room that Diddy requested. And another thread, Fahim Muhammad, one of the head security, gets approval to pay Guido for thousands of dollars of rugs. On the text references flower, which has been established at the trial to be a reference to Mary Jane, and that the thread included Combs, Coram, Combs' accountant, and Muhammad. Jury is shown text where Combs requested 15 Molly pills. Yo, 15 Molly pills. Dang. The jury saw messages between Diddy and Coram and the security guard Fahim. Puff, can you text Fa and what you need him to pick up before his flight to Miami? Coram said. Combs responded that he had already told her, and Coram said that he didn't give the final information. Molly, 15 pills, Combs replies. The jury saw a message Muhammad sent to Combs, Coram, and Combs' account manager in April 2023. Just gave $5,000 to Brendan for hotel, said the security guard. Ventura to Combs' staffer. No one deserves being dragged by their hair. The jury saw messages between Diddy and, again, Christina Coram and Cassie for May 2017. Ventura texted KK, WTF, and then Coram asked if she was okay. No, but you should still talk to him, Ventura responded. No one deserves being dragged by their hair. I locked the door for my safety, Ventura said in the message. She added that she didn't have her belongings or any money. Coram responded that she would try to talk to Diddy and help Ventura get her stuff. That's dirty, Christina. You should have gave Cassie that money and told Diddy, hey, suck it up. And if you don't like it, I'm not gonna work for you anymore. Like, she had no money after being dragged. I'm disgusted. Jane was threatened about sex tapes she wrote to Combs' staffer. The jury listened to 2 recordings, which the prosecutors say was found on Christina Coram's devices of phone calls between Diddy and his then-girlfriend Jane days after Cassie filed her lawsuit. The jury first heard the recorded calls during Jane's direct testimony. The message came after Ventura's lawsuit in which Ventura accused, we know, okay. The jury also saw photos that the prosecution says was recovered from Coram's device and showed messages on another phone. The photos were taken on December 28, 2023. I don't believe the lovey-dovey stuff. You don't need to go there for me. I was confused and couldn't concentrate for 3 years and feel extremely exploited, heartbroken, and manipulated by you, one of the messages said in part. You're the only opportunist here. You exploited the F out of me. You win. 3 years of being used and you had 3 years of fun with my body, messages in the other photo said. Jane previously testified she sent those messages to Diddy. A few hours after the photos were taken, Jane texted Coram saying in part, he just threatened me about my sex tape and that he has me on 2 phones. He said that he would expose me and then send them to my child's father. Jury sees the text messages between Diddy staff discussing King stuff. Security guards definitely have all the tea. I know. Hi, Jules, babe. I'm glad you're here. I'm so disgusted. With Diddy. The jury saw a text message again between Christina and Coram. I'm telling you, we need her up there. And the message is Paul keeps Coram informed as he escorts Combs to Jane's house. Coram warned Paul that he might need King stuff, potentially. While Combs is with Jane, Paul tells Coram he's just going with the flow. Quorum says, LOL. Okay, so basically he's lit. Paul responds, LOL. Is it lit? Later, Paul texts her, PD active now. Running to Walmart now. Quorum says, Wild King mode active or Gucci bag active. Paul responded, in between the two, if that makes sense. Judge hears text involving Combs and the security guard. The jury is seeing another summary chart of messages, including involving Mia, the other assistant, who testified in the trial. Who testified that Combs had sexually assaulted her on multiple occasions, and former security guard Damian Butler, who goes by D-Rock. On November 19, 2023, D-Rock texted Diddy, need to hear your voice, bro. Love you. Diddy responded, thank you for checking on me. Really appreciate you. Love you. That exchange came days after Diddy's girlfriend, Cassie, filed a lawsuit against Diddy. Texts and calls between Combs, D-Rock, and Mia highlight discussions about Combs' relationship. On Thanksgiving that year, Diddy's former security guard, D-Rock, wished Combs a happy Thanksgiving. He also told Diddy, I feel I need to see you and chill with you for a couple days. If you need a real friend, I'm here. Combs responded, love you, calling you. D-Rock texted Combs a few days later that he would see him the next day. The jury saw messages between D-Rock and Mia, a Combs assistant from 2009 to 2017, that were first shown during Mia's testimony. D-Rock texted Mia on November 3rd, 2023 for the first time since 2021. He said, what's up, when he responded. D-Rock then says, a lot has been going on. The jury saw a call recorded that day. Mia testified that she spoke to D-Rock that day, and he brought up Diddy and Cassie Ventura's relationship. Records show that D-Rock sent Mia's phone number to Diddy, who then tried to call her. A few days after that, Diddy texted D-Rock, thank you again for coming here and being here with me. Love you, brother. D-Rock texted Mia on December 5th, 2023, your boy said to call him. He doesn't want or need you to do anything. He just called me. Then on February 2nd, 2024, D-Rock texted Mia, good morning, how are you doing? Did you ever speak to P? He called me a couple days ago. Records in the summary chart show D-Rock was in contact with Diddy around this time. Not D-Rock, being a little dirty, doing Diddy's dirty work. Yes, Christine. I'm a big Britney fan. Don't get me started. We respect the queen here. I'm stuck on the 57-year-old white juror engineer. I know, from Westchester, Diddy's in trouble. No way that juror would say Diddy's innocent. I know. That's why the defense is, they're like, we want the other man back. Don't know. She is. Let me see. Jury sees text attempting to get Mia to talk to Combs in 2024. The jury continued to see a series of text messages between Mia and D-Rock. Picking up after the February 2024 text described earlier, D-Rock sent more messages over a few days, with Mia telling him she was out of the country on a scuba diving trip. In one message, D-Rock said, let me know how I can send you something. Mia responded that her debt was her problem and she would figure it out one day. The record showed D-Rock tried to get on the phone with Mia several times. Hey, bro, she hit me back. I'm trying to call her now. D-Rock texted Combs on February 4th, 2024. He also sent Diddy a copy of the previous message Mia had sent him. Let me know when you can reach her, Diddy responded. Later that day, Diddy texted Mia, hey, Mia, it's Puff. Let me know when you get 10 minutes to talk. Love. Over the following days, Combs tried to call Mia several times. Hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone. Just need to talk to you for 10 minutes. Just need my memory jogged on some things. You were my right hand for years, so I just to speak to you to remember who was even around me. Yeah, Diddy, because you were on the freaking Molly. And it would be good to hear your voice. But if you don't want to, all good. Just let me know. Love. Hope you're well. February 7th, 2024. That same day, Diddy sent D-Rock the same message he sent to me and told him it was a message he had sent to her. I've been trying to reach her. She ain't picking up the phone, Combs said to D-Rock. D-Rock then tried to call Mia twice. Defense began cross-examine of the paralegal specialist. Defense attorney Tenny Garagos is the one doing it. Garagos read some messages in which Diddy reached out to Mia. The messages showed that D-Rock told Mia that Diddy wanted to speak with her and also told her that Diddy didn't want anything from her. Garagos read a message Diddy sent to Mia on February 7th, 2024 that says, hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone. Just need to talk to you for 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, we already read this. Just need my memory jogged on a few things. You were my right hand for years, and it would be good to just hear your voice. But if you don't want to, I'll go. Okay, yeah, we know. Garagos confirmed with same car that after that, D-Rock told Combs that Mia's number was ringing as she was out of the country. She also confirmed that there are no records that suggest Diddy called Mia again after that. Defense points to, I'm excited to surprise him text from Jane. With summary witness and paralegal special Anaya, Tenny Garagos pointed to a message exchange between Christina Coram and Jane Doe around Valentine's Day 2022. And one of the messages, Jane, who dated Diddy, said, I'm excited to surprise him. Jane later sent Coram photos of a hotel room decorated with rose petals and heart balloons. Both sides approved jurors ages ago, which makes the recent change more suspicious. I agree. Jury sees text showing Jane resisting pressure to make plans. Defense attorney Tenny Garagos pointed to a text conversation between Christina and Diddy. In the messages, Coram asked Jane twice to call her and said Diddy was pushing her to figure plans out. My answer to him is no and still no, Jane responded. Coram said she would let him know and told Jane to keep her posted if anything happens. Defense points to texts about expense payments. With summary witness paralegal specialist, Tenny Garagos highlighted a few messages from Fahim to Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram. In the messages, Muhammad, the head of security, asked for approval for a disbursement from PD personnel to pay a variety of expenses. If you cannot be honest with me, this doesn't work, Combs' chief of staff messaged him. The jury has seen messages between Diddy and his chief of staff. If you cannot be honest with me, this doesn't work, Coram wrote in part. We all know what your kryptonite is and where you don't make the best choices. She said she felt Combs was lying and said it wasn't sitting well with her. Come take my phone, Diddy wrote in response. Coram responded that it wasn't about his phone. She said if he was starting to lie, that will break me. The next person on the stand is another summary witness. Delessa Penland is now on the stand. She's another summary witness. Penland is a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office. She testified her role in this case was to review charts too. Summary witness testifies about travel records. So Special Agent Delassa shows a chart that shows the dates, location, attendees, and travel records related to different quote-unquote meetings. One meeting in December 2029 involved Diddy, Cassie, and a man at the London Hotel in New York City. Ventura previously testified that man often joined them for freak-offs. Penland read aloud some messages between Diddy and the man coordinating for the travel trip. Combs then sent an email to the personal finance director for his executive office saying he needed a flight booked under the man's name. The finance director then sent back a flight itinerary. Penland said the man's flight itinerary was found in the records for Combs Global. Penland explained that the flight records for the man in Ventura indicated they were both in the city at the same time. The jury gets dismissed for lunch. These are the key witnesses in the trial so far. So Cassie Ventura, and then Jane, Capricorn Clark, and then Mia, Kid Cudi, and then hotel security guard are the key witnesses so far. Judge sees more records tied to purported 2009 meeting between Diddy, Ventura, and Combs. With Special Agent Delassa Penland on the stand as summary witness, the jury saw more records to support, back in 2009, an escort named Jules at the London Hotel in New York City. The record included those flights for hotels and for the weekend were paid for with Diddy's American Express card. The records show that Diddy had paid for flights for Ventura and Jules and a room at the hotel. Jury shown 2012 travel and hotel invoices between Diddy and Ventura. The jury was shown a travel invoice sent to Bad Boy Entertainment for a flight for Cassie from LA to New York. Special Agent Delassa read some messages between Ventura and Diddy on October 13, 2012. You ready for tonight? Diddy asked her. Cassie responds, yes, but she needed to get something. Man, you had all day. It's always something, Diddy wrote back in the messages. The jury then saw messages Ventura sent separately to two men discussing times to meet up and giving them information for a hotel in New York. The invoice for that hotel room was reserved under the name Janet Clark and paid in cash. One of the men texted Ventura in the early mornings of October 14th, indicating he was in another room. The jury also saw the invoice for that room, which was reserved under Frank Black, and both paid for with an Amex. Several videos recorded on October 14th were recovered from Ventura's devices. The jury watched some of those videos, but the public was not able to see them. The jury sees texts of Combs and Ventura arranging freak off. The jury saw text messages of Diddy with four men setting up a freak off with four men to celebrate Christmas. Wow, that's dark. Combs texted Ventura, want to celebrate Christmas and have a freak off tomorrow, Friday. Not the day Jesus was born. What the? Ventura texted with the man who runs an escort service to arrange for one escort and personally texted with the others to set up staggered arrival times on January 11th and January 12th, 2013. One of the escorts texted Ventura, hello, star. This is Santiago. I hope we can do another voyeur again. And I really want to do this again with you guys. Okay, Santiago, who liked the freak offs. Jury sees 2013 messages about a hotel room. The jury saw messages from Cassie Ventura sent to a man called Dave on October 21st, 2013, asking him to come to a hotel room around 1 a.m. Dave texted her, thanks, LOL, around 8 a.m. the following day. Shortly before 8 a.m., Ventura texted another man, Daniel Phillip, asking him to wait for a few more minutes. On October 22nd, 2013, Ventura texted Diddy, you didn't film anything on the phone, right? Diddy responded, no way. Defense asked about what jury was told about the dismissed juror. After the jury was let go for the day, defense attorney Alexander Shapiro asked the judge what was said to the jurors about juror number 6, whom was dismissed. The judge said he'd find out and tell the attorneys tomorrow morning. Jury views video of explicit sexual encounters for the first time. Can you imagine that? For the first time, the jury was shown actual video of the explicit sexual encounters. Previously, the jury had only seen images and heard audios of the encounters. The jury was shown clips from 3 videos created in October 2012, October 2014, and December 2014, totaling just over 2 minutes. Jurors, the judge, the witnesses, and the parties wore headphones. The lawyers were not shown the videos because the monitors are visible to the gallery where members of the public and press are seated. Most jurors remain stone-faced while the explicit video plays. One juror put her hand over her eye as she had done before, while another appeared to wince. Oof. That was today. So tomorrow, I usually do 2 days at a time. Let me pull up. Okay, now we're going to move on to the AI stuff. You guys know I love the AI stuff. Diddy's in trouble. Yeah, he is. I think so too. I think he's SOL. Okay, let's watch this new AI clip. This is victim 4, Mia testifies. Okay, so this is Mia testifying. It's gonna be good. Hey, 818.
Miser, you may proceed when ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mia.
Good morning.
Could you please state and spell the name under which you are testifying?
Mia, M-I-A.
Mia, have you been asked to testify under a pseudonym to protect your privacy?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 3T113, just for the witness only.
Ms. Comey, is there an issue?
I just wanted to make sure that the screens in the overflow room are turned off for this exhibit, Your Honor, only.
Can I ask the deputy, is there a way to confirm that?
That is confirmed, Your Honor, so long as the monitor is also disabled.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Ms. Miser?
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you see that, Mia?
Yes.
Do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is it?
My passport.
Your Honor, the government offers Government Exhibit 3T113 under seal pursuant to the court's pseudonym order.
3T113 will be admitted under seal.
Mia, is the name on this exhibit your true name?
Yes.
Is the date of birth on this exhibit your true date of birth?
Yes.
And before we move on, could you please display that for the jury only?
May I ask a question, Your Honor?
Do you need a sidebar, or can you ask this question in open court?
I believe so. It's not on our monitor either.
Yes, that's correct. Do you need me to see it?
I would like to. I know what it is, this one, but I would like to in the future, yes.
Do we have a copy of it?
I have an iPad that I can provide to Mr. Steele that will have it. I'll put it up for him now if Mr. Steele is okay with us proceeding while I do that.
Miss Smizer?
Thank you, Your Honor. You can take that down now. Mia, where are you from?
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
How far did you go in school?
Bachelor's degree.
What was your degree in?
Studio art.
I'm going to show you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 2A101. It's fine to reconnect the feed. Do you recognize who's depicted here?
Yes.
Who is that?
Sean Combs.
Do you know Mr. Combs by any other names?
Yes.
What names do you know him by?
P. Diddy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, PD, Mr. C.
PD.
What did you call him?
P and the D.
Puff.
How do you know Mr. Combs?
I worked for him.
When you worked for him, did Mr. Combs give you one title or more than one title?
More than one.
How many?
2.
What were those 2 titles?
Personal assistant and then director of development and acquisitions for Revolt Films.
We will discuss each of those roles in a moment, Mia, but first, at a high level, could you describe what the work environment was like when you were working for Mr. Combs?
It was chaotic. Could be toxic, it could be exciting. The highs were really high and the lows were really, really low.
What determined what environment was like on a particular day?
Pup's mood.
How often did Mr. Combs' mood shift?
All the time.
You can take that down now, Ms. Foster. Mia, was Mr. Combs ever violent toward you?
Yes.
What are some of the violent things that Mr. Combs has done to you?
He has thrown things at me. He's thrown me against the wall. He's thrown me into a pool. He's thrown an ice bucket on my head. He slammed my arm into a door. He's also sexually assaulted me.
Did Mr. Combs sexually assault you on one occasion or more than one occasion?
More than one.
We will talk about this violence in more detail later, Mia. Before we get there, I want to talk a little about your work experience before getting a job with Mr. Combs. What were your career goals when you left college?
I really loved storytelling and film and TV, especially comedy, and I really wanted to be a writer and a performer, but I didn't know how to do that because this was like a different era before social media or iPhones or access. So I thought I could just put a mattress on top of my car and move to New York City and get a job somehow in the entertainment industry and work really, really, really hard. And maybe in like 10 years, I would have had the education and experience to navigate that world to make whatever those dreams were come true.
At some point, did there come a time when you got a job in the entertainment industry?
Yes.
Where was that for initially?
First was for Georgina Chapman, who was the owner and designer of Marchesa.
Who were Georgina Chapman's clients?
It was like all red carpet celebrity dressing.
Where did you work next?
I worked with the comedian Mike Myers.
What did you do for Mike Myers?
I was his personal assistant.
Who did you work for after Mike Myers?
Puff.
Approximately when did you begin working for Mr. Combs?
2009.
In what year did you leave Mr. Combs' companies?
2017.
How old were you when you applied to work for him?
When I applied, I was either 25 or just turned 26.
Where were you living at the time?
In New York City.
Where was Mr. Combs' business located then?
He was also in New York City.
What were the steps in the hiring process?
I met with a recruiter multiple times, and then I had multiple interviews with the head of HR, Vashta Wilson. Then after that, I had an interview with his chief of staff and executive assistant and head of personal finance.
Who was his chief of staff at the time?
Her name was Ali Nieves.
What about the executive assistant?
Curleen Roy.
Finally, who was the person in personal finance?
Tony Baez Fletcher.
Ms. Foster, could you please pull up what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 2A305? Who is this, Mia?
That's Tony Bias Fletcher.
Did Ms. Fletcher have any other titles when you were there?
Yes.
What?
Chief of Staff.
You can take that down, Ms. Foster. Mia, were you ever interviewed by Mr. Combs himself?
Yes.
Where did the interview take place?
At his apartment.
Did anyone accompany you to his apartment?
Yes.
Who?
Vashta Wilson.
The head of human resources?
Yes.
What happened when you got to Mr. Combs' apartment?
He answered the door on the phone.
Who answered the door?
Sorry, Puff.
What was he wearing when he answered the door?
His underwear.
What did Vashta do when Mr. Combs answered the door in his underwear?
She just introduced me and then left.
Did Mr. Combs eventually put on clothes?
Yes.
Who else was around for the interview?
Derek, his stylist at the time, was in the apartment.
What's Derek's last name?
Roche.
Did you ultimately get the job?
Yes.
How did you feel about getting the job?
I was so excited I was so excited. So nervous, and just really eager and excited, I guess.
When you took the job, how much did you expect to work?
I was explained that it would be a lot. There were a few jokes about 24-hour nail salons thrown in, but I guess I didn't fully understand. Yeah, I did expect to work more than an average job.
Did you expect to work 24/7?
I thought that was probably physically impossible, but yes. So not literally, but
How much had you worked for Mike Myers?
he also said 24/7, but really maybe every once in a while I would get a call at 7 o'clock, or maybe on the weekends I would have to watch his dog, but it was pretty much 10 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday.
Were you supposed to have any days off with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Did you expect to work on the weekends?
Not every weekend. I thought there would be a rotation of assistants, but I didn't expect not to work at all on weekends, if that makes sense.
What was your base salary when you started as a personal assistant?
Well, I was told it was $55,000, but then it turned out to actually be $50,000.
And when you started the job, how many hours a week did you understand you were expected to work to earn your salary?
40.
How often did you work more than 40 hours a week?
Every week.
And how were you supposed to be compensated when you worked more than 40 hours a week?
Paid overtime.
I want to talk about your first day at work, Mia. What's the first thing you did on your first day of work for Mr. Combs?
I went to the office, and Vashta told me that I probably wouldn't see Puff for the next 2 weeks while I was on trial, and I was going to get accustomed to the office and sort of all the things that went into making his life run smooth.
Let me pause you there, Mia. You said while you were on trial. What do you mean by that?
Vashta had said that there were so many people vying for this position that they had a trial period that would last 2 weeks to see if you, I guess, had what it took, essentially.
And where did Vashta tell you to go?
To his Alpine, New Jersey house.
And what did you do at the Alpine house, just at a high level?
They told me, I don't know, to do some sort of inventory or take note of what needed attention.
Did you go there?
Yes.
Approximately how long were you at the Alpine house?
I was there all day. I left when it was dark out, but it wasn't super late. Just had been dark out.
And where did you go after the Alpine house?
Back to the office.
And how long were you at the office?
Probably a few hours, or it didn't feel super long, yeah.
And what time is it around this time?
For some reason, I feel like it was maybe 10 o'clock when I left because I was just meeting with new people and learning more stuff.
Where did you go after that?
Home.
Did you make it home?
No.
Why not?
Vashta called me and said that Puff wanted me to come to the studio.
What did you do after you got the call?
I went straight to the studio.
How long were you at the studio?
Until 1 o'clock the next day in the afternoon.
Did you go home after that? After being at the studio until 1 p.m. the next day?
No.
Where did you go instead?
Puff's apartment.
And what did you have to do there?
I was learning his security and his assistants and whoever needed to, whenever Puff was ready to essentially settle in.
I better get used to the AI, and this is what we're going
You
for.
went back and made sure and had everything he needed, and they were showing me how you set up, and yeah.
And when did you get to go home?
A few hours after that.
How long were you able to be home before you had to return to work?
I don't remember the exact amount of time. I just remember being too nervous to risk it by taking a nap because the time period wasn't that long. So essentially just to kind of rest and then get ready again.
So Mia, how much did you sleep during your first 24 hours on the job?
I didn't.
What did you think about that?
I sort of took it as a challenge, or maybe this was just for the trial period, or maybe it was I don't know. It was kind of is this how it is? But there had been a TV show 2 years prior called I Want to Work for Diddy, where it looked like this fit the norm. So I don't know. I thought maybe it was part of the trial.
When you were working for Mr. Combs, how often were you required to go without sleep?
All the time.
What, if any, expectations did you have about when you would be able to sleep next?
That was the thing. I didn't. I can usually power through, but I remember when I was younger, waking up for school, being tired, I would be like, okay, Mia, you get out at 3 o'clock, you can sleep then.
Non-responsive, Your Honor.
It's overruled.
You can continue.
I remember thinking let's say I'd been awake for 2 days or something. I didn't have anything to hold on to because I didn't have an idea of when that could happen, when I could go to sleep.
What was the longest period of time you went without sleep because of your work for Mr. Combs?
5 days?
Generally, what were you doing in those 5 days?
Working. We were traveling. I just remember the last part being in Las Vegas. So there was always a million things going on. I remember he had a club appearance, but also had a few impromptu music video sets. So you're running around doing whatever needed to be done.
Next, I want to transition to a new topic. So Ms. Foster, can you please display what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 2A401? Mia, do you recognize the person depicted here?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's Cassandra Ventura.
Do you know Miss Ventura by any other names?
Yes.
What?
Kathy or Cass.
Is that what you call her?
Yeah, I call her Cass.
How do you know Cassie?
I met her working for Puff.
I can't imagine popping all these Molly pills. Imagine awake for 5 days. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Jules brought me to bed with her. Oh, freaky. I can't imagine that. Me either. All those rugs and feeling like cramp. I love the AI.
And how would you describe your relationship with Cassie?
We became sisters, best friends.
Are you still friends today?
Yes.
You can take that down, Ms. Foster. When you were working for Mr. Combs, what was your understanding of his relationship with Cassie?
That she was his girlfriend.
How often did you see Cassie and Mr. Combs together when you were working?
All the time.
Right.
At a high level, how would you describe their relationship?
It was a cycle of highs and lows. It was unequal, toxic. When I say abusive, I don't mean that she had any, it was abusive towards her.
Was there any violence in the relationship?
Yes.
We'll talk some more about that soon. First, what was Cassie's profession?
She was a recording artist.
In your role as a personal assistant for Mr. Combs, did you have exposure to aspects of Cassie's music career?
Yes.
Generally, what exposure did you have?
All of the executives or people doing business with or for Puff would send all of anytime they needed an answer through me in order to get the answers from him. So I thought all types of correspondence, emails, and I was constantly with him in meetings with her. So I was pretty privy to a lot going on.
From what you saw, what was the relationship between Cassie's music career and Mr. Combs' business?
She was signed to his label.
And what, if any, role did Mr. Combs himself play in her music career?
He was in charge of it.
And what kinds of things did you see Mr. Combs do related to Cassie's career?
He was always made the final decision.
And what kind of final decision did you observe?
That could range anywhere from deciding what music would be put out, what the visual aspects of any music videos, when she would be in the studio, her appearance, and any sort of shows or appearances or dates or promotions that she would be involved with.
Ms. Foster, could you please display what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 3T107R for the jury? Mia, what are we looking
I'm going to call some of you out and myself. We know what some of this is like. Huh? I mean, not the freak offs. That's not what I mean, but Like the
Looking at here.
Mahoney, the Coca-Cola.
This is an email from Cass to Puff and a number of executives or people involved in her music career and me.
Okay. Ms. Foster, could you please zoom in on the bottom message? So this says it is from
Don't be lying.
Veronica Bang. Who's that?
It's Cass.
And who did Cassie send this message to?
She sent it to Puff, Gwen Niles, Harvey Pierre, Capricorn Clark, Matthew Testa, James Cruz, and me.
And you said those people were involved in Cassie's music career?
Yes.
When did Cassie send this message?
April 21st, 2012.
At around what time?
It says 7:30, but it was actually like 4:36 in the morning because we were in Los Angeles.
If you know, where was Cassie that night?
My memory, I believe they were at a hotel.
And who was she with at the hotel?
Puff.
Do you have a term for this kind of night from your working with Mr. Combs?
Yeah, we called them hotel nights.
We'll talk some more about hotel nights soon. What are some of the locations after this where you saw or heard violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie?
His houses, her apartments, hotels, events, traveling, on vacation.
Let's talk about a few of those. You mentioned that something violent happened in Cassie's apartment. Is that right?
Yes.
Did that happen one or multiple times?
The time that stands out to me, like I have one. You mean like when I was present?
Yeah. Is there one that sticks out in your mind?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Which apartment was Cassie living in at the time?
She had an apartment on Doheny in Los Angeles.
When approximately was this? Do you remember?
It was definitely the second LA house when I lived there. I just don't remember the exact year.
At the Beverly Crest houses that you were living at the time?
Yes. Sometime between 2010 and 2014. It would have been earlier than 2014 because she moved into another apartment, I think, in 2013.
What time of day was it when you were in Cassie's apartment that day?
I feel like it was early evening. I think like it was dark out, but it wasn't super late.
Who was all there?
It was me, Cass, and Deontay Nash.
Who's Deontay Nash?
He was her stylist, but also like her friend, but her stylist.
What were you and Cassie and Deontay doing that night?
Helping Cass pack for a big trip. I think it was to London the next morning.
Did there come a time when Mr. Combs came to the apartment?
Yes.
And what happened when he got to the apartment door?
He was like banging on the door, like very irate. I think he had a key.
At some point, did he get inside?
Yes.
Do you remember exactly how he got inside?
I feel like he got a key from the front desk. That's what my feeling is because we had tried to talk to the doorman multiple times.
Objection.
We can move on, Your Honor.
All right.
When Mr. Combs gets into the apartment, what, if anything, was he saying?
He was like screaming at Cass and like screaming, but asking like, have you been screaming? Have you been drinking at her? Because she didn't answer the phone.
How close was he to Cassie when he got into the apartment?
Very close. I'm seated here. My back is to like the balcony, and in front of me, like where you are, is like the entrance to the apartment. And it opens up to like a living area combined with a kitchen. And on where the apartment entrance door is, like where you are, the wall to Cassie's bedroom is, and Cassie was pretty close to the door on that wall. So she was probably like a couple feet from the entrance door to the right, to my right.
What, if anything, did Mr. Combs do when he was yelling about her drinking?
He then came after like me and Deontay and was screaming the same thing, like, has she been drinking? He was super upset. Has she been drinking? And he was like crazy aggressive and he started to attack her.
What did you see when he started to attack her?
Like he threw her to the ground.
How did you react when Mr. Combs threw Cassie to the ground?
I feel like me and Deontay like immediately jumped in and tried to stop it because we were all alone in like we jumped in to try to help.
When you say you jumped in, what did you do?
I feel like we were both trying to get him off her. But in this I don't know how to do that. And I don't know, Deontay is very small in comparison to Puff, and it happened so fast. But there was some sort of, little tornado going on. And at some point, he had Deontay in like a position where I was like scared he was going to like kill him. And I jumped on his back.
What did Mr. Combs do when you jumped on his back?
He threw me like against the wall, like so quick and so easily, and I realized we were in real danger.
How fast was this all happening?
It was so fast, but I felt like I was in slow motion, but it was really fast.
What did Mr. Combs do after he threw you against the wall?
He immediately, almost like slow motion, like I was sliding down the wall of some sort. The bedroom was to my left, and he immediately ran in, and I saw him grab Cass, and I couldn't get there fast enough. Underneath her bed was this wood, a bed platform, and the corner was the sharpest, strongest corner I've ever seen. And I just saw him pick her up, and I thought, he's actually gonna kill her. And he slammed her head into the corner of the bed.
What injuries did Cassie have as a result of Mr. Combs slamming her head into the bed?
She just started gushing blood, and she had ended up with a pretty big, a scar on her forehead.
What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie's head was split open?
He immediately snapped into this protector survivor mode. He told me to get Kala, who was the assistant at the time, who had a relationship with doctors, get Kala on the phone and tell her to call Dr. So-and-so and tell him that Cassie needs to see them immediately because she was drunk and fell and hit her head.
What did you do after Mr. Combs told you to call Kala?
I called Kala
Why did you do that?
because I thought that was the only way to get her help and because Pot told me to.
Stepping back just a moment, how did Mr. Combs appear when he was in Cassie's apartment?
It's his eyes turned black, and he was,
A demon?
there was no getting through. I was trying to get him to stop,
Here.
and it was he was looking through me. And it was the first time that I guess it was the first time I realized the severe danger that we were actually in. He was completely
Let's get the next question.
Were there other times that you saw that look in his eyes?
yes.
When typically did you see it?
When he was in a fit of rage or angry or violent.
Mia, during the time you worked for Mr. Combs, were there times where you saw Mr. Combs take drugs?
Yes.
Were there times when he appeared high to you?
Yes.
What did you observe in the instance in which Mr. Combs appeared high?
Sometimes he would be having so much fun. He would be the life of the party. Sometimes
He was a demon. Hi, Amber. Good to see
he
you, love.
would just be a little bit, he would be really hyper sometimes, and sometimes drooling, and his eyes would, or sometimes he would be wearing sunglasses.
On what occasions did you typically see him like that?
Mostly partying Ibiza or Burning Man or clubs or at a music conference.
On this occasion, when he slammed Cassie's head into her bed frame, did you see any indication that Mr. Combs was high?
No.
Mia, earlier you mentioned that if you and Cassie, when you and Cassie were together, if you would leave without Mr. Combs' permission, sometimes scary things would happen. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Was there ever a time that you went to a party without Mr. Combs' permission?
Yeah. One time. Yes, we did.
Who went with you?
Cassie.
Whose party did you go to?
Prince.
When approximately was this?
I think it was either 2011, 2012, something like that.
Are you estimating?
Yes, I'm estimating.
What happened the night before the Prince party?
I believe it was a big award show of some sort, and Puff had gotten a suite at the Beverly Hills Hotel to get ready.
Were you in that suite?
Yes.
With Kathy also?
Yes.
What did Mr. Combs tell you to do that night?
At the end of the night, he told me to stay with Cass, stay the night with Cass at the hotel.
What, if anything, did Mr. Combs say about what he was doing that night?
He told me to keep her company and make sure she doesn't come to the house because he was telling her that he was going to be with the kids.
Did you expect to see Mr. Combs that night?
No.
So at some point, did you learn this party was happening at Prince's house?
Yes.
How did you learn that?
A good friend of ours called and said that Prince was having an intimate party in his house up the street.
What did you do after you got the call?
Prince?
Cass and I debated little kids if we should sneak out of the house for probably, felt like forever.
Did you go to the party at Prince's?
Yes.
What happened when you got to the party?
We danced on this purple uplit plexiglass covering of an indoor pool and hung out with our friends, and Prince performed on a little table. We were just having fun.
Did there come a time when Mr. Combs showed up to the party?
Yes.
What did you see when Mr. Combs showed up?
I saw his like bucket hat come through the entrance and made eye contact with him.
So you and Mr. Combs locked eyes.
Yes.
How did you react after that?
Like, oh crap. Me and Cash just booked it.
You and Cassie started running?
Yes.
Where did you go?
We ran through the house, which was quite confusing. And we were trying, when you make it out to the yard, there was something across the street that looked like, I don't know if it was in the woods or not, but somewhere to hide, like bushes, and we were trying to run to hide there.
What happened while you were running?
Poth caught Cass.
When you say he caught Cass, what do you mean?
Like he caught up to her and had her on the ground.
What happened after Mr. Combs got Cassie to the ground?
He started to attack her, but Prince's security like swiftly intervened.
Where did you go after you saw Prince's security intervene?
I don't remember like if I was hiding or how I got there, but I ended up hiding at a different hotel.
You're not at the same hotel you were
That would
earlier
be
that
like
night?
me.
No, I'm not.
Did you hear from anyone who worked for Mr. Combs while you were at the hotel?
The next day, yes.
Who did you hear from?
Vashta, I believe.
And Vashta is part of Human Resources?
Yeah, she was the head of human resources.
What did Vashta tell you?
That Puff was suspending me without pay and that I was like in big trouble.
What did she say was the reason you were going to be suspended without pay?
She just said that Puff said I was being insubordinate.
What, if anything, did Vashta say about Mr. Combs' behavior the night before?
Nothing.
Your Honor, I'm about to move on to a new topic, which I can do, or it might be a good time to stop.
That's fine. We can take our lunch break at this time. Thank you, members of the jury. As always, do not speak with each other about the case and don't talk to anybody else about the case, and have a great lunch.
This is verbatim too. Don't you love it? For all the trials we do not have access to, they need to do AI. I'm so digging it. I love it. We're gonna play the next AI tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll do a recap of day 25. Oh my god. And then we'll play another clip of AI. I'm digging those. Heck yeah. I would talk to everyone about the case. Yeah, I think I've said this in the previous lives too. Like, I feel like when they're like, oh, don't look it up on the media, don't talk about the case. I'm like, dude, you know those jurors are going home and they are Googling and YouTubing that. All of it. All of it. They need to be sequestered. In high profile cases like this, I think they need to be sequestered. And yes, this recap is done, Jules, but no worries. I am starting another live right after this. We are covering Karen Reed. I'm so behind. Don't even tell me. But yeah, you know, I think that it's human nature to look into these things, and you can't avoid something that is so highly in the press and in the media, you know? It's P. Diddy. Like, ever since I was born, I knew who that was. Like, I came out of the womb and I knew who that was. Like, literally, hospital bed, coming out the womb. Just kidding. But make sure you hit that like button. Yes, right away after this. So give me like 10 minutes and I should start. It's already scheduled, the Karen Reed. I'm not tired yet, so I figured we'll stay up, and I'm trying to get caught up this week. I'm a busy girl. Okay. How did both sides disapprove? Thank you, Augie. Yes, listen to Augie. Hit the like button so you don't get detention. She was also going in naive as well. Okay, yeah, I wanted to say that. I wanted to say, like, you know, we can all sit here and judge Jane and Mia, and like, we don't know what that's like. Well, and if you do, please share. We don't know what it's like to be in that position, right? Where you're getting a lot of money, someone's paying $10,000 for your rent. Sheesh. I mean, and you know, you're a famous celebrity. I'm not saying that, you know, I just want us to be empathetic of like that situation, you know? And they did go through a lot of trauma and abuse. I think whether they participated and, you know, I don't know. We can have a whole ass conversation about it, but we just want to keep that in mind, you know? We don't know what it's like to be in those freak offs and getting $10,000 for your rent and then $4,000 here and $4,000 there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Diddy's getting off. Jules said something earlier, like, do you think President Trump will, New York is expensive, yeah. President Trump will pardon him? I mean, he's pardoning everyone. It feels like he just pardoned the Chrisleys, right? I don't know. I'm not very happy with Trump right now. I'm not very happy with all the hate going on. That's for another live, but make sure you hit the like button. I'll see you over on Karen Reed. Meliana, we'll see. Yeah. See you over on Karen Reed. That's a dark party, right? Verbal contracts, it seems. Love contracts. Anyways, hit the like button on the way out. I just scheduled it for 10 minutes out. Grab your popcorn, grab your blankie, grab your drink, whatever you need. And I'll see you back at the next live. Karen Reed. Bye.